While some people are opposed to gene manipulation, others have strong beliefs in this technology. Dr. Nick Bostrom teaches philosophy at Oxford University. He is the founder of the World Transhumanist Association. Transhumanism is a philosophy concerned with the radical improvement of human capacities using technology.
I don't think there is anything intrinsically wrong with human beings using our understanding of technology to change or modify human nature in ways that we would find desirable, whether it is by giving us greater immunity against various diseases, or extending our active lifespan, or maybe by increasing our intellectual, emotional, or physical capabilities in different ways. I think, in principle, that's a good thing to do. The playing God objection I've always had a problem with, because if you look back on human history for the past, well, you can go back 100,000 years ago. We've been, in a sense, playing God ever since we first arose on the African savannah 100,000 years ago. We just have no choice but doing that. We just have to learn to be better at doing it.
50 years ago, the words cloning and DNA were things that were only customary in science fiction books.
Science fiction writers have been responsible and prophetic in many ways about these kind of possibilities. And movies like The Matrix and things have allowed many people to begin to ask the question, do we want to move into a sort of hyper-technological world, or should we be reasonably all right with the level of technology we now enjoy?
Brian Stableford is a science fiction writer and the author of Inherit the Earth, whose story is based in the 22nd century, where biomedical nanotechnology has given everyone in the world long life and robust health. One wonders if science fiction raises the stakes for science or vice versa.
Science fiction doesn't really try and predict anything. Prediction is a business for astrologers and racing tipsters. There will only be one future in which we actually live, but there are millions of futures which could actually potentially happen, and to some extent the one that we live in will be chosen by the decisions we make in the present. So what science fiction writers try to do is to try and point out all the possibilities, the whole spectrum of possibilities, all the things that could happen, and hopefully by doing that they can help to inform people a little bit better as to what choices they might like to make.
If everything was destined to be genetically modified, then what would we be able to define as being natural in the future?
Well, I think the concept of natural is, once you start thinking about it, it's very, very murky and hard to really get a grip of what natural means. I mean, how much of our world or ourselves is natural? So, glasses, we have artificial covers that we call clothing, and so the distinction in the first place doesn't seem to be able to carry that much weight. Once you think about it, we are really very dependent on the unnatural and artificial, and it's really become a part of us. In terms of human nature, I think human nature should not be seen as an unchanging, biologically determined, static concept, but rather that human nature is something that is dynamic, that has been changing and is changing over time, and that it doesn't just consist of human DNA, but that human nature really is the whole matrix of how our DNA and our environment and our technology and other people, our social systems, how all of that interact to create different human life forms, and that definitely has been changing.
I think I still believe that it will be possible to draw a line with germline engineering and say, that there do exist such things as natural human beings, and that that should continue to be the case. I think with plants and animals there are very good arguments for why we shouldn't do genetic engineering, but when you come to human beings, there's another argument which is about the intrinsic value of being an untampered with human being.
For some people, the revolution of genetics is also challenging the value of diversity that defines human race.
We are all so different, and there's nobody better than me in this world, because I am me, because I am the only one of me. I just think that in terms of trying to create a super being or whatever, I think is totally wrong, because I think it's going away from the essence of being human. Being human is about not being perfect.
Provided humanity continues to flourish and there is no cataclysmic disaster, we don't blow ourselves up or something like that, that technological progress will continue and that more and more human enhancement technologies will become available. I don't think that any end point to this process is in sight. Why think that what we are now, human nature as it happens to be in the year 2003, is somehow the best possible way it could be? It just seems very a myopic and narrow-minded and naive thing for us to think that here we are and we have reached the apex and that there is nothing better that could possibly happen.
I don't think it'll be radically different to the way it is now, because the technology doesn't exist in the way that people are suggesting. We won't be able to simplify it to the level that people can tick different boxes and pick the kind of qualities.
I'd like to see the project through, raise the 15 million, get the cure, get myself cured of it, and I don't know, just live a happy, fulfilling life where I feel that I can do all the things that I want to do. So, move to Greece.
Genetic engineering could mean making humans somehow better in the future, taller and more muscular, or smarter and less aggressive, maybe handsome, perhaps sweet, even happy. It is in certain ways a deeply compelling picture. Maybe we should start considering more carefully what we owe to society and to the future, rather than what we owe to our children in this particular moment.
The future's unpredictable by definition. I mean, if we knew what we would discover tomorrow, then we'd already have discovered it today. There will only be one future in which we actually live, but there are millions of futures which could actually potentially happen, and to some extent the one that we live in will be chosen by the decisions we make in the present.